What's up YouTube? This is Ultra Right, and today I just want to make a quick video on a stagger pressure and staggering with high and mids, right? So Liu Kang, he is a really good stagger character, right? Because he has a lot of good staggers and he has a good mid stagger. But a lot of people don't use his high staggers and they should more, and I'm going to explain why. So let's do the normal mid stagger that most people do, right? They do forward 4. And off of this, you can do forward 4, or you can do forward 4-3, or you can do forward 4-3-4. And a lot of people aren't going to finish the last hit because it's flawless blockable and you can get punished for it, right? So a lot of times they're going to do forward 4, or they're going to do forward 4-3. Alright, now all these options are safe off of this, right? Forward 4 -3, forward 4-3 -4, and then forward 4-3-4 is -4. So this is a good stagger because your people, they're just afraid to like hit buttons, right? And they don't want to hit a button after forward 4 because they're afraid that forward 4-3 is going to come out, right? So even though this is a good stagger, at the end of the day, if you do forward 4 or you do forward 4-3, you are technically giving up your turn, right? And if you do forward 4-3-4, you are at the risk of getting full combo punished if they flawless block it. And this string is not that hard to flawless block if you know it's coming, right? So I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to show you that you're negative. And so I have my opponent set to hit 1-2 after block, right? Do a reversal, 1-2, which is 7 frame startups for Li Mei. So if I do any of these options, right? If I do forward 4 and I try to hit a button, I'm going to get punched. If I do forward 4-3 and I try to hit a button, I'm going to get punched. So I can't hit a button after these. Yes, you could do a micro duck on a read and stuff like that, right? But if you go to do a micro duck and your opponent goes to do a mid, then you're going to get punched in the face. So at the end of the day, if you do a stagger that's negative, you're kind of just giving up your turn, right? So let's talk about highs, right? And I understand that highs can be ducked, right? Highs can be micro ducked, highs can be ducked, you can be down to 1, and I understand that. But a lot of people aren't micro ducking highs, right? And like I said, if you think they're going to micro duck, you can always just hit them with a mid, right? If you think they're going to micro duck, that's when this becomes the perfect option, right? So let's go over Liu Kang's just some good staggers, right? So you have 1, you have standing 1, which is 6 frame startup and +3 on block, right? You have 1-2, which is 0, and you have 2-2, which is +3, right? And you have 2, which is +1. Now both of these start in a high, right? And the second hit is a mid. So why are these good staggers? Because if I put my opponent in the same situation and they go to start their pressure, it's going to frame trap them, right? So I have Li Mei to do the same thing, right? She's going to hit a button after, that's 7 frames. If I do 1 into 1-2, I'm going to win that interaction every single time. Now, even though 1-2 is 0, right? Even though 1-2 is 0, you got to understand Liu Kang has a 6 frame standing 1, right? Which means that even though it's 0, my standing 1 is going to beat out Li Mei's standing 1 because most standing 1s are 7 frames. So there we go. I'm going to beat that out every single time. So now it looks like 2-2, right? 2-2 is the same way. I'm going to win every single time, right? 2-2 is the same way. I'm going to win every single time because 2-2 is +3, and I'm going to just win this interaction. So I just showed you 3 different buttons where you're going to win this interaction. Now, this is something that you do got to know, right? If you do 2, right, your 1 does not reach. You know, so if you go to do 1, you're going to get punched because your 1 does not reach, right? Even though you're +1, your opponent's going to win this interaction. But in this interaction, right, if you notice, if I do 2, the 1-2 whiffs. This is This might be Li Mei specific, but this is something that you need to know, right? So you can delay your follow-up attack. So you can do 2-2, not 2-2. So you can do 2, 1-2, right? 2, they whiff, 1-2. This is fighting game 101. You stagger the 2, they went to hit a button, and you hit them with the 1-2. So this is why staggering with high attacks is important, right? It gives you plus frames. And if you're plus, your opponents are going to be afraid to hit because you can do anything. If you're plus like 3 and your opponent hits any button, most characters can always backdash it and whiff punish them. So even though highs can be microducked, you need to be able to. Even though highs can be microducked, you need to use them because in this situation, if I go to do 1-2 into 1-2, right? And Li Mei goes to microduck, I'm just going to do 1-2 into back 2, right? Let me turn this off so I can explain this to you. So, if I think she's gonna do this, right? If I think she's gonna micro duck because she's expecting me to do a 1-2 into a 1-2 again and keep my pressure going, I'm gonna do 1-2 into my 10 frame mid, and I'm gonna get a hit off of it because they're not blocking if they're micro ducking. So that is why, and if you don't understand what micro ducking is, I will link my micro duck video in the description just so you can understand what that is. But this is important, and this is why it's important to use high attacks, right? High attacks are normally your pressure tools. If you're staggering at mids, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the end of the day, you're risking giving up your turn. If you're staggering with highs, you're not really risking giving up your turn, and if you have a good mid, most people are going to block when they're plus, right? Unless they make a read. And that's fighting games. I do this, you do this. You might get punished for using a high attack, right? But you might also give up your turn if you use a mid attack. Or what if you do a high attack into a mid and they go to micro duck the high attack, right? You're doing something, opponent's doing something. I hope you understand why staggering with high attacks is just as important as using your mids. And if there's any other questions you have, please let me know. Have a fantastic day.